Hi everyone, I'm not sure what's happened here, whether this is a complete oversight, a mistake, or whether this was intentional. However, at the time of filming this review, the product that features in today's video was only available to buy on Amazon. Now, I have never heard of a brand releasing a product exclusively through Amazon before, so I'm assuming this is a mistake. However, I do know that they are planning on releasing this worldwide in places like Superdrug, Boots, Ulta. I'm just not sure what date that's supposed to be launching, but we're gonna roll with it today because I have managed to get my hands on a couple of shades of the brand new Maybelline Superstay 24-hour skin tint. We're gonna be doing an in-depth review on this and also comparing it to something that looks very, very similar that's been around for a while, the L'Oreal True Match Nude Plumping Tinted Serum. So let's get on with it. If you're new here, hi, my name's Gemma. I upload new content on YouTube every single week. I would love it if at some point in this video you are finding it helpful. Please consider coming and joining the Pampered Wolf Pack by clicking on the like button, the subscribe button, and the notification bell. So I've had a couple of shades of the 24-hour skin tint in my possession for the last couple of weeks. I've seriously put it through its paces and really tried to test out those 24-hour claims. I think the check-in that I do in this video is 14 hours. So, I mean, it's not the full 24, but I'm really sorry. There's no way I am staying up 24 hours and there's no way I'm going to bed with makeup on my face. It's just not done. So 14 hours will have to do. You will have to wait until the end of the video to check that out. But let's go into a little bit of bump on this and we'll get some on my skin. So this is the Maybelline Superstay 24-hour skin tint. It's going to cost you £12.99 in the UK. You get the average 30 mils worth of product, and there are at least 11 shades available within the range. I'm hoping that more is coming because the shade range seriously does need improvement. From the photographs that I've seen, there's only one deep shade, which is just not good enough. So I've picked up the shades 5 and 5.5, and I'm going to be comparing it with the L'Oreal True Match Nude in the shade 0.5 to 2, very light. This is supposed to give light to medium coverage and give a soft, glowy, yet non-shimmery finish. It's infused with ascorbyl glucoside, which is a stable, non-irritating vitamin C, so this should be quite a brightening serum if it sinks into the skin. It's supposed to be long-wearing, it's fragrance and essential oil-free, it's also a vegan formula. It says it's suitable for sensitive skin, but it does contain an extremely high level of alcohol, so I'm not actually quite sure whether that is going to be true. It does have a dropper on the bottle, which I find quite confusing because it's just a bit cumbersome to use. Sometimes it picks up products, sometimes it doesn't. A little bit like the L'Oreal True Match Nude. It would just be so much simpler if it came with a pump, but you know, I'm picking fault here. This is a loose consistency. It's easily blended with a brush, your fingertips, or a sponge. And although this is a thicker serum consistency, I do think this sinks into the skin very nicely, although some does sit on the surface and look more like makeup than skincare. So it's fair to say that the Maybelline and the L'Oreal packaging looks incredibly similar. Both are in glass bottles that are clear, both have droppers, but is it just the packaging that's similar, or is the product pretty much the same as well? Well, in my opinion, it's not just the packaging that's similar with these two products, although there are differences to be seen. Now we're going to do a little bit of a challenge here. I have the L'Oreal on one half of my face and I have the Maybelline on the other half of my face, and I would like you at this point to guess which one's which. So we have this half and this half. You can guess. So following on from the look of this foundation and how it feels on the skin, and there are differences there and I'll point that out in just a second for you, both of these foundations have a similar price point, and also the top 6 ingredients in both of the products INQUIRIES are identical. That does not mean that they are in the exact same quantities in each of the foundations. However, the top 6 ingredients are usually those ingredients that are there in the highest quantity, and they go in quantity quantity order. So the top ingredient is the ingredient that features most in the product. So the top 6 ingredients being identical and also being in the same order is really quite a big giveaway to me that these products are going to be similar. Also, both of the products are extremely high in alcohol, which I was really disappointed about because I know a lot of people said that they couldn't use the L'Oreal True Match, even though I really liked it. It looked beautiful on the skin. The high alcohol content would have really put them off because their skin wouldn't have been able to handle that. And unfortunately, if that was the case, probably not going to want to give the Maybelline one a go either, because very, very similar quantities of alcohol are used in this formula as well. Both of these products are also a similar consistency, although I will say that the Maybelline Superstay 24-Hour Skin Tint is slightly thicker in consistency, and that will make a big difference to how it looks on the skin. I do think that the Maybelline has more of a satin sheen, whereas the L'Oreal has more of a pearlescent, radiant sheen, although you do have to get really up close and personal to be able to see the difference when it's on my skin side by side. I don't think you would notice from conversation distance. Both products sink into the skin beautifully, although like I said, because the Maybelline is slightly thicker, it does tend to sit on the surface a little bit more than the L'Oreal. And both products don't sit in fine lines, wrinkles and pores. Throughout the day, I also don't find either of the formulas to be transfer resistant. This lifts on my phone if I touch my face. Both of the formulas do tend to lift with or without powder. Another major similarity is both of these wear for a really long amount of time, and I'm going to show you the after pictures after 14 hours of wear just from the Maybelline. You can see clearly here that this is still intact. There is a little bit that's rubbed off the end of my nose and off the end of my chin, but I'd worn this for such a long time. I'd been out with friends for a meal, I'd been hot, I'd been cold, in and out of cars, in and out of the snow, so it had definitely had a good workout that day. It lasted really well. So let's look at the differences in both of these formulas. I'll be able to tell you which one I actually prefer, which one I think feels nicest, which one I think looks nicest on my skin, and let's see if you were correct with your predictions. So on this side of my face, I have the L'Oreal True Match Nude, and on the other side of my face, I have the brand new Maybelline Superstay 24-Hour Skin Tint. Now, in my opinion, I prefer the L'Oreal True Match because I think it looks more skin-like. If you have a look at the Maybelline side, you'll see that it looks a little bit more makeup-y, and I'm putting it down to the thickness of the formula. When they're side by side, you don't really notice a difference, but when you start blending it into the skin, the L'Oreal turns into more of a water and really thins out, whereas the Maybelline keeps its thickness. So it looks a little bit more like makeup around my pore area, and especially around this portion of my nose here. Also, the alcohol in this formula I find quite drying. It does not feel drying, but you can definitely see the dryness where I've been wearing this for the last few days. The L'Oreal on this side of my face, yes, it still looks a little bit makeup-y around my nose area, but I think this side of my face looks way more fresh and natural and more skin-like than the Maybelline. And I've applied exactly the same amount of product to each side of my face, which is interesting. Exactly what happened with the high levels of alcohol in the Maybelline foundation has also happened on the L'Oreal True Match Nude side as well. This has not sat really well on my drier areas, and I have had to overly prep my skin to wear these products day in, day out. 1 or 2 days is perfectly fine, but an everyday foundation for me, my skin is just too sensitive and a little too dry to get away with every single day wear. Another difference in both of these products is that the Maybelline is way more buildable in coverage than the L'Oreal. So if you're wanting something that feels lightweight on the skin, but you can build in certain areas, then the Maybelline will definitely be your gal. However, the L'Oreal, although it is buildable, just slightly less buildable, I would say, than the Maybelline. The Maybelline has a little bit more welly in the coverage department. I do think that both of these foundations benefit from having a moisturizer and a primer underneath. I really did have to prep my skin for both of these to look at their best. I've tried this on completely bare skin, I've tried them both with just moisturizer, and I've also tried them both with moisturizer and primer. Today is the day of moisturizer and primer. The primer that I used was the Tatcha Liquid Silk Canvas, and even though I've primed and moisturized, you can still see the texture around my mouth area and all of the texture in between my brows, which isn't always the case with other foundations. So it's not like I don't like both of these foundations. I think they are beautiful, especially the L'Oreal True Match Nude. Really like that, but it's not the best foundation that I've ever seen on my skin. That's what I'll say. So if you are my skin twin and you're wondering which shade to go for, I'm going to show you the swatches on the screen now. First up, we've got the L'Oreal True Match Nude Plumping Tinted Serum in the shade 0.5 to 2, very light. Next to that, we have the shade 05 in the Maybelline Superstay 24-Hour Skin Tint. And then we've got the shade 05.5 again in the same foundation. All of these shades I can definitely make work on my skin. As you can see, you can't really tell a difference. However, I tend to reach for the 5.5 in the Maybelline a little bit more often than the 05, which has more of a pinky undertone, whereas the 5.5 has more of a warmer undertone. So final thoughts on the Maybelline Skin Tint. I think it's a lovely, lovely product. I think that for the price of it, it's excellent quality. I don't think it's the best foundation that I've ever had on my skin. I also don't think it's the best skin tint that I've ever had on my skin. I wish it was slightly a thinner consistency. I wish it looked a little bit less makeup-y on my skin, but I do love how it wears throughout the day, and 14 hours, I mean, who can grumble at that? It lasted really, really well. So if you love the L'Oreal but you wished it had a little bit more coverage, I would definitely give this one a go. If you didn't like this one because of the ingredients, you're probably not gonna like this one either. So I like them both. I think for the price they're an absolute steal. I just wish that they had less alcohol content in them, because I think my skin would like that a lot better, and I'd be able to wear them more often. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Which side do you think looks nicest on my skin? To refresh your memory, we've got the Maybelline 24-Hour Skin Tint and the L'Oreal True Match Nude. Which one do you like best? Have you tried any of these already? Are you thinking about trying any of them in the future? Do let me know your thoughts in the comments section. I really hope you found this video helpful. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and hope to see you all in the next one. Bye everyone.